Welcome back to Blood and Bone Podcast. Tonight, we're exploring a story that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. A case involving one of the most powerful and influential figures in the music industry, Sean P. Diddy Combs. From his meteoric rise to fame, to the recent flood of allegations that have put his name in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, we're going to take a closer look at the troubling details of this complex and deeply unsettling case. To grasp the magnitude of these allegations, we have to go back to where it all began. In November 2023, a singer named Cassie Ventura, known to many as Diddy's former partner, filed a lawsuit that would reverberate through Hollywood and beyond. Cassie's legal action didn't just call out her ex-partner for mistreatment. It unveiled a disturbing narrative of control, manipulation, and abuse that spanned more than a decade. Almost immediately, this single lawsuit set off a chain reaction. One by one, other accusers began stepping forward, sharing their own stories and turning what began as an isolated case into a much larger scandal. But to understand the impact of these allegations, we need to know who Sean Combs really is. Better known by his various stage names, Puff Daddy, P Diddy, or simply Diddy, he's not just another music mogul. He's a man who has built an empire from the ground up. Starting in the early 90s, Diddy began his career as an ambitious young executive at Uptown Records, but after being dismissed from the label, he took matters into his own hands. In 1993, he founded Bad Boy Records, a label that would go on to sign some of the biggest names in the music industry. One of his earliest signings was the notorious B.I.G., a legendary rapper whose success propelled Bad Boy Records into the limelight and cemented Diddy's place in the industry. He didn't stop there. He continued to build his label by signing major artists like Faith Evans 112 and Mace. He wasn't just a businessman, though. He stepped into the spotlight as an artist himself. His debut single, Can't Nobody Hold Me Down, stayed on the Billboard charts for weeks, and his subsequent albums established him as a legitimate performer in his own right. But Diddy's success didn't stop with music. He branched out, becoming a brand in himself. He launched his own clothing line, Sean John, which earned him critical acclaim and a spot at New York Fashion Week. He partnered with Ciroc Vodka, making it one of the most recognizable luxury spirits in the market, and pursued multiple other business ventures, ranging from fragrances to media. Over time, his ventures collectively earned him a net worth that, according to reports, is close to $1 billion. With fame, fortune, and a powerful presence across music, fashion, and business, Diddy seemed untouchable. However, with that level of success came an equally high level of controversy. Diddy's name was frequently in the headlines, not just for his achievements, but for a series of troubling incidents and legal disputes. One of the earliest controversies dates back to 1999, when he was sued over an alleged physical altercation with NASA's manager, Steve Stout. The case ended in an out-of-court settlement, but it set the tone for what would become a pattern of high-profile disputes. From that point on, more incidents began to surface. In 2003, his clothing brand was accused of violating Honduran labor laws, sparking outrage and raising questions about his business practices. In 2007, he was sued again, this time for allegedly punching a man at a nightclub. Over the years, Diddy has been linked to everything from conspiracy theories about the murders of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G., to allegations of misconduct that have lingered in the shadows. But none of these previous controversies compare to what unfolded in November 2023. Cassie Ventura, who had been associated with Diddy for more than a decade, decided to speak out. Cassie first met Diddy when she was just 19, and she soon signed a long-term contract under his label. According to her lawsuit, this wasn't just a business agreement, it was the beginning of a deeply troubling relationship dynamic that left her feeling trapped and controlled. Her legal filing outlined a pattern of manipulation that went beyond professional matters. Cassie described how Diddy would dictate almost every aspect of her life, from her career choices to her personal relationships, even controlling her finances. She claimed that over the years, she was put in increasingly uncomfortable situations that left her isolated and powerless. One of the most startling incidents referenced in the lawsuit occurred in 2016. According to Cassie, a heated argument between the two escalated into a physical confrontation in a New York hotel. Security footage reportedly captured parts of the altercation, and Cassie claimed that Diddy later tried to retrieve the video by offering the hotel a large sum of money to bury the evidence. But the accusations don't end there. In her suit, Cassie also pointed to a separate incident in 2012 involving musician Kid Cudi. She claimed that Diddy tried to intimidate her by targeting people close to her, going as far as damaging Cudi's property in what she described as an act of retaliation. A spokesperson for Kid Cudi later confirmed that the claim was true, adding more weight to her allegations. As if these allegations weren't serious enough, Cassie's bravery in coming forward appeared to spark something far bigger. Within days of her lawsuit making headlines, new accusers began stepping forward, each adding their own allegations to the growing list of claims against Diddy. It seemed as though Cassie's lawsuit had opened a floodgate, prompting other victims to finally speak out. Among these new cases were allegations dating back to the early 1990s, including claims of drugging and assault. One of the more disturbing accusations involved a college student at Syracuse University in 1991. According to the suit, Diddy was accused of drugging and assaulting the young woman, and then filming the incident. Another lawsuit followed, involving an alleged violent attack where Diddy and fellow artist Aaron Hall were named as aggressors. By December 2023, yet another claim surfaced, this time from a 17-year-old victim who alleged that she was taken on a private jet, drugged, and assaulted by Diddy and his associates. With the pressure mounting, Diddy finally broke his silence. In a public statement, he denied the allegations, saying, "Enough is enough. For weeks, I've watched people try to destroy my character and my legacy with sickening allegations. Let me be clear, I did not do any of the awful things being alleged." But his statement only seemed to fuel more speculation and scrutiny. As more details emerged, federal authorities began to take notice. By early 2024, they had launched their own investigation. In a dramatic turn, Diddy's properties were raided, and both of his sons were reportedly detained during the operations. It raised a new question. Was this a coordinated legal takedown, or was it the beginning of a much broader investigation that could implicate others within Diddy's inner circle? From there, things only got more complicated. Just when it seemed like the story couldn't get any darker, CNN obtained leaked footage of Diddy confronting Cassie in a hotel hallway. It was the first public acknowledgement of a violent incident, and it seemed to validate some of Cassie's claims. Days later, another former partner came forward with new allegations, and the scandal continued to snowball. As of now, the legal battles are far from over, and it's clear that the repercussions of these allegations could be devastating for one of the most powerful figures in the entertainment world. It's a troubling story, and it doesn't just involve one person. Other individuals and incidents have been linked to Diddy over the years, adding more layers to this complex situation. Despite these serious accusations, Diddy has maintained his innocence and is fighting the allegations in court. As the legal battles unfold, the question remains, how will this impact the legacy of one of the music industry's biggest names? For now, we can only wait and watch as the story continues to develop. But before we delve deeper into the most recent developments, let's take a closer look at where it all started and how this scandal snowballed from one lawsuit into an avalanche of accusations. It was in November 2023 when the first domino fell. Cassie Ventura, a singer and Diddy's former partner, filed a lawsuit that not only detailed years of manipulation, control, and mistreatment, but also set off a chain reaction that left many wondering, what else has been hidden behind the glamorous facade of Diddy's empire? Since that initial lawsuit, more and more voices have emerged, leading to a series of serious legal battles that have brought forward disturbing stories about the man once seen as untouchable. Diddy's legal team, however, was quick to respond, dismissing Cassie's claims as a desperate attempt for money and notoriety. His lawyer, Ben Brafman, issued a statement saying, "Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. For months, Ms. Ventura has been making persistent demands for $30 million, threatening to write a damaging book about their relationship. This lawsuit is nothing but a series of baseless lies aimed at tarnishing Mr. Combs's reputation and seeking a payday." But Cassie's team fired back, stating that before she went public, Diddy had offered her a staggering sum, 8 figures, to be exact, in an attempt to keep her silent. Cassie, however, refused to be silenced. What caught everyone's attention, though, was the speed at which the lawsuit was settled. Just a day after it was filed, both parties had come to an agreement. They publicly claimed that they wanted to resolve it in a pleasant and friendly manner, but with so many unknowns, one has to wonder, was this a genuine settlement or just an effort to bury the truth? While the details of that settlement remained shrouded in secrecy, it was clear that the story wasn't over. In fact, it was only just beginning. Within days, new accusations emerged, and Diddy found himself facing a flood of legal actions that threatened to tear down his carefully crafted image. One of the first new allegations came from a woman who claimed Diddy drugged and assaulted her back in 1991, decades before the Cassie lawsuit. And then, another lawsuit followed, accusing Diddy and fellow artist Aaron Hall of participating in a violent incident that left lasting scars on the victim. As the lawsuits piled up, Diddy's legal team continued to insist that these were nothing more than fabrications from people looking for a quick payout. Yet, with each new claim, the public's perception shifted further. By December 2023, a new lawsuit surfaced, this time involving a 17-year-old victim who described a nightmarish scenario. Taken on a private jet, drugged and assaulted by Diddy and his associates, this lawsuit included photographic evidence, making it one of the most damning accusations so far. Feeling the heat, Diddy finally broke his silence. He took to social media, writing, "Enough is enough. For weeks, I've watched people try to destroy my character and my legacy with sickening allegations. Let me be clear, I did not do any of the awful things being alleged." But rather than quieting the storm, his statement seemed to intensify the scrutiny. As the lawsuits grew in number, federal authorities took notice, and what began as a civil matter quickly escalated into a criminal investigation. 2 of Diddy's properties were raided, and both of his sons were reportedly handcuffed during these operations. The raids were a dramatic development that left many questioning the true scale of the investigation. Were these lawsuits merely the tip of the iceberg? What were authorities really looking for? And then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse for the music mogul, a shocking twist emerged. CNN obtained leaked footage showing Diddy confronting Cassie in a hotel hallway. This was the first time a tangible piece of evidence surfaced that seemed to support some of the allegations. Although Diddy later apologized for the incident, calling his behavior inexcusable, it marked a turning point. Within days, a former model came forward with new allegations, accusing Diddy of drugging and assaulting her. This was followed by yet another accuser, claiming a pattern of misconduct that stretched back decades. With the list of accusers growing, Diddy's legal team continued to maintain his innocence, calling the allegations a coordinated effort to extort money from a wealthy and high-profile figure. But as more voices joined the chorus, it became harder to dismiss these claims as mere fabrications. The question now was, is this truly a campaign to bring down a powerful man, or are we witnessing the long-overdue unraveling of a dark legacy? Fueling this wave of allegations was a new piece of legislation, the Adult Survivors Act. Passed in New York, the law gave adult survivors of sexual abuse a 1-year window to file civil lawsuits for crimes that may have happened years or even decades ago, even if the statute of limitations had expired. The timing of this law, combined with Cassie's courage in speaking out, seemed to open the floodgates, creating a ripple effect that encouraged others to come forward with their stories. But as more allegations emerged, the narrative began to shift from individual accusations to something far more sinister. Now, it wasn't just about isolated incidents. Instead, a much darker picture started to take shape, one that pointed to a coordinated, long-standing pattern of criminal behavior that went far beyond Diddy's personal life. Everything changed on September 16th, when federal authorities arrested Diddy based on a sealed indictment from the Southern District of New York. The charges were staggering: racketeering, sex trafficking, and obstruction of justice. The indictment painted a grim picture, describing Diddy not just as a celebrity caught in scandal, but as the leader of what prosecutors refer to as a criminal enterprise. According to the U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, Diddy allegedly used his vast business empire to carry out a web of criminal activities that included forced labor, kidnapping, and even arson. Prosecutors claimed that since 2008, Diddy ran his organization like a crime syndicate, leveraging his power and influence to manipulate and silence his victims. If these allegations are true, Diddy's empire wasn't just built on music and business, it was sustained through a network of fear, control, and intimidation. But what exactly does this mean? The indictment goes on to explain that Diddy allegedly used his wealth and status to recruit people from within his companies to carry out his orders, conceal his activities, and intimidate anyone who posed a threat to his carefully constructed image. His businesses, which were seen by the public as legitimate entities, were allegedly used as tools to shield his illicit operations. Among the most disturbing allegations are what have been referred to as freak-offs. According to the lawsuit, these were elaborate and often coercive gatherings that Diddy reportedly organized and documented. These events, described as spanning multiple days, were not just private parties. They were systematic and orchestrated encounters, where victims were reportedly drugged to keep them compliant. And it doesn't stop there. The lawsuit even claims that Diddy took extraordinary measures to ensure his victims could continue to participate. It's alleged that he employed medical professionals to administer IV fluids to help victims recover after these events, suggesting a level of planning and forethought that is chilling. When law enforcement conducted recent raids, they reportedly found supplies that supported these claims. Thousands of bottles of lubricants, narcotics, and even specialized medical equipment. In the face of these mounting allegations, Diddy issued yet another denial on social media, insisting, "Enough is enough. I did not do any of the things being alleged, and I will fight to clear my name." But as each new piece of evidence comes to light, the question lingers: how deep does this really go? Is this the work of a few disgruntled individuals, or are we looking at the unmasking of a far-reaching criminal network? If Diddy is found guilty, the penalties could be severe. Racketeering, which involves a pattern of illegal activities conducted as part of a structured group, alone could carry a sentence that puts him behind bars for decades. And federal prosecutors don't take these cases lightly. They have a track record of success, boasting a conviction rate of over 95%. Yet, it's not just Diddy's future on the line. The indictment hints that there may be others involved, executives, assistants, and close associates who may have knowingly participated in these crimes or helped cover them up. If true, this could implicate more people within his organization and potentially expose a sprawling network of enablers. This is no longer just a celebrity scandal. It's turning into what could be one of the most complex criminal cases involving a public figure that we've seen in years, and as the investigation continues, it seems that the full story is still unraveling. The fallout has been swift. Diddy has already been denied bail multiple times and has been placed on suicide watch. With every new revelation and every new lawsuit, the once untouchable image of a music and business mogul is crumbling. For a man who once stood at the pinnacle of the industry, it now appears that his empire is on the verge of collapse. It's not just Diddy who's under fire. The indictment hints that others within his organization, executives, assistants, and associates, could also be implicated. If it turns out that people knowingly helped to cover up these crimes, they could face charges of their own, unraveling a network of complicity that stretches far beyond a single individual. We may be looking at a web of enablers who protected and facilitated his actions, raising the stakes of this investigation even higher. This goes beyond a single celebrity scandal. What's beginning to emerge is the outline of what could be described as a criminal network operating under the guise of legitimate business. If the allegations hold true, it would be one of the most complex and high-profile cases involving a public figure that we've seen in recent years, a case that not only threatens to dismantle Diddy's legacy, but could shake the very foundations of the entertainment industry. And as the investigation continues to dig deeper, Diddy's once untouchable image is steadily crumbling. He has already been denied bail multiple times and placed on suicide watch. a stark contrast to the powerful figure who once stood at the pinnacle of the music and business world. For a man who was once handed the key to New York City, it now seems that the locks have turned against him, and he finds himself facing the fight of his life. The authorities are making it clear, this is far from over. As U.S. Attorney Damian Williams stated during a recent press conference, this isn't over. We encourage anyone with more information to come forward. It's a direct call to potential witnesses, victims, or anyone else with knowledge of the situation, signaling that they believe there may be more to uncover. If they're right, what we've seen so far could just be the beginning of a much larger unraveling. And that's where we stand for now. A high-profile investigation that continues to unfold, one that has already changed the way the world sees a man who, for decades, seemed invincible. Will this be the end of Diddy's empire, or will he somehow emerge unscathed? Only time will tell. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the case against Sean P. Diddy Combs. If you want to stay updated on this and other high-profile cases, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I'll be following every twist and turn as the story develops. Until next time, stay vigilant, because in the dark world of power and crime, nothing is ever as it seems.